Alrighty, hello internet. My name's Zach, and today we're going to be going through my new song, Strelizia. But yeah, before we get started, just wanted to let you know that this podcast is now available on Spotify or anywhere else that you get your podcast from. So if you prefer the audio only format and you don't have to look at what I'm talking about, feel free to jump over and give it a follow on there. Also check out the song. The song's also up on Spotify and YouTube and everything else as well. So definitely check it out where you need to. Okay, so for this song, originally, I wrote this for it was like a multimedia website, but I ended up really liking it and was kind of curious as to what other people thought about it, so I decided to keep it for myself. But yeah, it's probably one of the most layered songs that I've done before. That was sort of the intention from the beginning as well. So yeah, I wanted to see how it sounded and sort of experiment a little bit with this one as well. I don't know if I like it more than the other songs where it's a bit more sparse, but yeah, I don't know, it's been fun experimenting anyway. So we'll jump into it. The song starts with I guess what you would call the chorus melody. So if you have a listen. So you sort of get the gist for the melody. There's that chorus lead part, which is so essentially the lead guitar, with some delay and all the effects, but then the rest of the band is just backing it up. So for example, when we break it down without that. So the backing band obviously is comprised of, the drums, so if you have a listen, drums and bass. Not doing anything too crazy there. But then there's also some guitars in there as well, which... So there's rhythm guitars, but there's also some guitars that do a little riff in the backing as well. So and you can hear they're EQ'd quite heavily to give room for the bass. So on their own they do sound a bit smaller. But those riff guitars are actually doubled with some synthesizers as well. So if you have a listen. So without the guitar. So yeah, in this song I've done a lot of layering, just doubling things up or adding octaves or higher or lower parts doing the same thing. Similarly, you can hear with the bass as well. I don't have as many plugins as I would probably like, and I probably need to start investing in some non-stock ones. But so you can have a listen, with the bass. I sort of doubled it with a square wave, so the bass guitar on its own, for example. So that's a square wave, I should say. With the bass guitar. You sort of get the gist for it. Even to the point in this one where the drums are actually doubled, so you can hear with the program I'm using, that's sort of more like a progressive rock one, and this is more like a boomier sort of kit. with, yeah, a bit more reverb on there as well. But then together, you sort of get like a tight as well as boomy. So yeah, again, for better or for worse, might be a little bit boomy, but I don't know, it sort of worked with the song, I think. So again, full band, and then this next part is sort of like a joining riff that bridges the verse, the chorus, I should say, to the first verse. And then yeah, into the verse, which is a bit more sparse than the chorus. So coming in here, we've got drops back to the two rhythm guitars, bass and drums, still doubling the bass and the drums in this section, but the lead guitar is just sort of like a melody done in octaves. So you can have a listen to that verse melody on its own. Then in context. Again, only nice and short for that verse. I find myself writing shorter songs a lot of the times these days. I guess by the way of Spotify and people's attention span in general, but yeah, a lot of the times my songs tend to be on the shorter side at the moment. And also I think with instrumental music, like if you're trying to appeal to a wide array of people, like it can get pretty boring pretty quick. So I think yeah, keeping it shorter keeps the attention a little bit. But yeah, you can hear it's pretty much standard tones for everything. With the rhythm guitars, they just go back to like palm muting. Again, just until that bridging riff, and then we go back to the chorus, which is pretty much the same, except now there's not as many stops, and then we've also added a little bit. So have a listen to that bridge going back into the chorus. So yeah, by contrast, by leaving out some parts of the previous section, the chorus does seem like a bit beefier and bigger. So yeah, the rhythm parts are more moving than they were at the intro of the song. Like there's not as many stops, but you'll also notice there's another synthesizer part, sort of mimicking that that main riff at the start. And together. So yeah, there's not a whole lot different there. Same deal, repetition is king, I guess. But then going into the next verse again, pretty similar. It becomes a bit more stripped back. However, in the lead section now, it's got that same part as before, like the same melody done in the octaves. But now I've added in sort of a higher octave of the lead part, doing just the individual things. So I'll play it without, and then with. Then in context. So again, there's nothing too crazy in terms of differences going on there, but you will notice there is like a little bit of automation just in the rhythm guitars, just to bring it up and down where it needs it. From there, turn you back into another chorus. again, with not too much different on there. But from that chorus, we go into to the bridge of the song. So it's like, differs from the verse and the chorus. And again, we're stripped back a little bit here. So you have a listen. There's still octave melody and then rhythm guitars. So yeah, halfway through it repeats, but we do add a little synthesizer line in there as well if you want to have a listen. It's similar to the melody that we hear earlier in the song, but yeah, the synthesizer part's just there to sort of suit the difference in the chord changes just a smidge, so you can get a feel for it. Yeah, there's nothing too crazy going on. The chords just sort of change a little bit. Same deal. We've still got double bass and double drums as well. And then we've got that joining melody comes back there as well into the last chorus. Yeah, listening back, after a few weeks since I put it out, I don't mind how it sounds. Like, it sounds quite aggressive, probably like when you listen in context of the mix, it probably sounds a bit more aggressive than a lot of my other stuff. But I don't think it sounds as like me, for lack of a better word. Like typically I feel like I sound most like myself in the songs like Gargantia or like Cloud Runner, where there's like open chords in the backing and then like aggressive rhythmic parts, but then sort of soaring lead, like a slower sort of thing. Like I quite like how this sounds, but I think the synthesizer is adds another level that I wouldn't necessarily define as my sound. Like usually if there's synth parts, it'll be like pads or not really at the forefront, sort of more of like an understated part supporting the guitar. But that being said, like I really like the song. I think it turned out well, and it was fun just experimenting with so many different layers. And like I know this is nothing compared to some people's sessions, but yeah, still been fun for me, and I'll definitely think I'll do it in the future. But yeah, thanks for tuning in anyway. If you have enjoyed it, obviously, check it out on Spotify. Get the audio version on Spotify or Google Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And then, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. Alrighty, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.